Lynn Pauly, followed by Anneliese Emerson.
Well, speaking of monkey business, my concern is this. On September 7th of this year, 393 members of Parliament signed a written declaration which is needed to trigger the adaptation to end all primate testing in Europe. This is a total ban on the use of great apes, on chimpanzees, on bonobos, on orangutans, on gorillas, and the use of all wild-caught primates, and the use, and as well as the phase-out of all primates in European laboratories. So while Europe is taking this progressive lead in phasing out the use of primates in labs, the U.S. is joined by other third world countries in expanding the use of, expanding their primate centers, expanding the numbers of primates that are used in laboratories. All of the 8 National Institutes of Health primate research centers are expanding. Here in Wisconsin, they're trying to double their holding of primates. While members of Parliament from France and Germany and Sweden and Portugal and Slovenia, along with others, have evolved their thinking to realize that the time has come to put an end to this. We are in the dark ages about that. I'm a primate, and I'm speaking for all the other primates who can't speak for themselves, not because they're not intelligent and not because they're not sensitive, but only because they don't have the vocal cords to talk.
Thank you, Lynn. I am very torn on this issue, to be honest with you, because of the research elements, but I also am very affected by some of the things you say, so if you have some more materials that you'd like to give me for me to read, I will try to do that.
Thank you.
Anneliese Emerson, followed by Jillian Hussey.
Hi, I'm Anneliese Emerson, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about the monkey business. I've spoken to you and written to you several times since 2004, when I became aware of what was happening at the UW Research and also at Covance. And I've discovered how many researchers and scientists and concerned citizens there are speaking up against this unreliable and unnecessary testing. For too long, we've been told that without animal research, there will be no cures for human diseases. But animals don't get human diseases. The animals in the research labs are artificially induced. They have these symptoms induced into them. We live in the 21st century with highly technological and human-based, non-invasive technology available. Science is down to a molecular and genetic level where twins in the same family can react differently to the same medicine. I myself am involved in 2 Alzheimer's studies. My mother has had Alzheimer's for 8 years, and I'm involved in epidemiology studies up at the University of Wisconsin, where they can get more information from me, from my blood, that can be tested and shared with other researchers. And I know, and also there's so much more information, Senator Feingold. I'd like you to urge the FDA to end mandatory animal testing. The FDA statistics even show that 92% of all of the drugs testing, 92% of drugs tested as safe and effective in animals fail when they're tested on humans. Of the remaining 8% of the drugs that reach the public, more than half are relabeled or withdrawn because of serious toxic effects that were not predicted by animal experiments.
All right,
I'd like to go on, but
this is a good way to keep me thinking about this, and
yes,
I will look at
I
your
have
material.
lots of material that I've gathered in the
Just
last
give
4
me
years
some.
that I would love to show
Just
you.
give me a manageable amount.
Okay.
Thank you for your work on this.
Thanks.
Jillian Hussey, followed by Jean Hilgers.
Thank you. And I would like to first of all draw your attention, Senator Feingold, to legislation that was passed by the House overwhelmingly last week, sponsored by Representative David Price. A lot of Republicans also were involved. It's being referred to as legislation that would pave the way for contractor accountability and prosecution of the kinds of crimes we've seen committed over the past 4 years by contractors, and in particular Blackwater. And to quote Jeremy Scahill, the very incredibly, I believe, good investigative journalist who wrote Blackwater, USA, something quite insidious is at play because the mercenary industry itself is endorsing this legislation. Basically what it would end up doing if it passes and presumably goes to the Senate, it would create a FBI field office opened up in Baghdad so that actually US personnel that would be sent over there to monitor the activities of 180,000 contractors. And incidentally, according to Jeremy Scahill, there are more of those than there are actually military soldiers. So we've got double what we think there. One other quick thing, and that would be to say, would you please comment, as part of the pursuit of securing peace in the Middle East, the need to secure a regional nuclear-free agreement. This would have to include Iran, every Arab country, and Israel. The alternative clearly is going to become, if Israel, Pakistan, and India have nuclear arms, then why shouldn't we? And I also want to comment as far as peace, and in the world we're talking about feeling unsafe in this country. We have now got a colour-coded fear recording here where we can be colour-coded as to what we're supposed to fear. I'm much more afraid of the build-up of nuclear arms. And I want to say I became a citizen in 1972, and at that time I was very proud to become a US citizen because of current things such as in Guantanamo, Abu Ghraib, extraordinary rendition.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm way over my time, and I've still got quite a few people.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's just so much time. Let me just comment on one piece, which is the contracting abuses. We have to have strong legislation in both the Senate and the House that really goes after this. And Senator Jim Webb of Virginia is taking the lead in the Senate on trying to have legislation that would really be something along the lines of what Harry Truman did in going after war profiteering during World War II. It's that kind of effort that needs to be taken.